Hi everyone, this is Rajith from Upgrade CYCLERY. Today we're going to discuss about understanding training. The training is one of the most crucial part in terms of, if you're a beginner or an intermediate or you're a pro rider. To discuss about training and more the importance of training and mentors, we have Kiran Raju. He's Kiran Kumar Raju to be, known as KKR. He's a track athlete and 3 times XC national champion. Welcome Kiran. Thanks for joining us for the session. Good to have
Yeah,
you.
it's pleasure. Yeah, it's pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Superb. So we'll just straight away get into the session. So I will just brief how we are
Yeah,
going to go it.
definitely.
So I'll be asking
Yeah.
you a few set of questions, and once
Yeah.
that is done, we will take few questions from the listeners.
Done. Is
Okay.
am I visible?
Yeah,
Good
I think you should
enough?
sit in the opposite direction. The light is
Yeah.
behind you.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think now it is
Is it?
still better.
Yeah.
If you tilt a bit more, you should be fine, I believe.
Done. That shouldn't be a problem, I guess. Once.
Yeah. Yeah, I think somewhere in mid. You need to face your light, opposite to the light.
Yeah. A light is opposite to me right now.
Yeah, then perfect. We'll start off. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start straight away. Why training is important. The first thing everyone would think after buying a cycle is there is
Yeah.
importance for training. Why is it important? So my first question is that.
I mean, before asking why is it important to train, I would
Okay,
say, what's your objective, right?
okay,
Uh, to buy a bike.
super,
So one needs to train why to get faster, to improve yourself.
super.
But important thing to be considered here is to improve yourself, not to improve it compared to others. That's the biggest mistake a beginner does. My friend is
Okay,
already doing 30 kilometers per average for a 2 hour ride or a 3 hour ride. It's very
okay,
important to understand
yeah,
you're training to improve yourself. Last month, I was doing 20 kilometers per hour. This month, my target is 22, 23,
okay,
right?
absolutely
So
correct.
that way you see progress and you feel happier.
Yeah,
Things start going in negative direction or you're disappointed is when you start
yeah,
comparing your training with others.
others, yeah,
So, so why do you need to train? Simple answer to get better at it, to get better for yourself, to feel good for yourself,
true.
not in terms of comparison. Never compare. I would never say comparison comes, but at a later
Yeah,
stage when
later
you're
stage when you're
looking,
into serious riding, yeah,
when you're into serious riding, when you're looking at competition, you want to know your competitors, how well they are prepared, how where are you standing in respect
yeah,
to your competitors. That is when
true,
comparison comes into picture. When you
true.
start off, it's all about yourself and no one
Yeah,
else. Did
yeah,
I improve over period of weeks and months?
yeah,
That's where the fine line is written, right? Fine line is drawn.
yeah,
So it's very important to compare yourself. That way, you'll sustain it longer, you'll feel
yeah.
happier, and you'll just continue. You'll progress without burnout.
True, true. So you saying that don't get into pressure, comparing with good performers
Yeah,
already there. And what kind of
yeah.
support system do you think when you want to get into training?
Yeah, well, I mean, a very important point you've touched upon is support system, right? When we talk about
Yeah,
support system, for a beginner, what's a support system? I look at it as two phases. One is internal support system.
yeah,
Second one is external support system. And I say internal support system is the family,
super.
people who stay with you day in and day out,
Yeah,
right? And external support system is your friends, your close relatives, whom you meet outside your house, who are very close
true.
to your heart and who care for you, right?
Yeah,
What's the connection between training and the support system? A big, I mean, this is something you'll not find on internet.
yeah,
It's very easy to find it on internet, how to gain speed, how to fix your bike,
yeah,
what diet should I follow, what bike do I need to buy, right? It's very
yeah,
easy to Google, but you'll
yeah,
never get what's importance of a support system for you to progress or sustain, right? So this is something that I talk to my juniors. I talk
yeah,
to friends when they ask me, how do you get
yeah,
sponsorship? I like before that. Do your parents know? Do your friends know that you started loving the sport? You started liking cycling a bit more, because not
yeah,
everyone understands cycling itself.
True.
For them, are you cycling? It's they're not. If you say you're playing cricket, they'll get excited.
Yeah, you
The
have some
tone
future. Yes.
changes.
Correct, correct. I understand.
The tone changes between cricket and cycling, right? So
Yeah.
it's very important to get the internal support system in place first before you start off anything, right? Before you even start thinking about, I want to be the next sponsored athlete, the next national champion. I want to like progress in the sport. I want to go to Tour de France. I want to represent India at the world level, right? Whatever it is. Before that, I would say talk to your parents. They are the first and foremost important people to you to convince them.
Yeah.
They should understand why you like the sport, why you like cycling, right? And you should understand also cycling is not a sport where it's easily available, meaning in terms of finances, right? It's highly expensive in terms of equipment, in terms of gearing, in terms of training, like in terms of having a coach and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's very important to understand what's the finances involved in the sport itself.
Yeah.
And parents should know about it. He or she should explain the parent, this is how it'll happen, the progression. The initial phase, I need a bike which is worth so much, right?
Yeah.
It might start from 20,000 for some. For some, it'll start at 50,000, right?
True.
So it's very important to understand, to make your parents understand about the support system for you to survive the training. Otherwise, it's very tough. 2 days you train, third day you come back tired. Your father will say, you're tired, you're not able to study. Don't cycle, right? That will give a negative energy to you and everything else. So it's very important to have the internal support system in place. Second, the external support system. This is something I was blessed with initially to start off, right? It was not easy to strike the internal support system, but my external support system was amazing. I had friends who were like willing to take me in the car, on their bikes, to all the races, to all the events, come there, cheer me up. That was giving a big booster and confidence. Because if you were not cycling, you used to hang out with your friends. Tomorrow, now you can't go late night movies with them, right? Because you got to get up early morning next day. You got to go for the training or for the race. It's very important. Your friend circle or your cousins understand that you love the sport, and they need to respect and give that space to you. So it's very important to have this support system in place before you start off with big goals, because initially it will take time, but it's very important to set this thing right so that you don't have distractions in between, which will put you down like 2-3 steps below. Like with all that hard work, it's very important to have these 2 support systems in place. Yeah.
So these days you feel that, more parents are supporting cycling?
Yeah. I mean, I see, I remember my days when I used to like struggle to educate them how cycling is and stuff like that. Now I see a lot of sport, to a lot of events. Parents come to the sport, to the event, they watch their kids ride. At times, even when the kid is, even when the son or daughter are not racing, they just come and see the race, and they want to know what's happening, how people are organizing it. What if my child had participated in it? How things would have been different. So they come, they educate themselves. They know they're being more aware.
They get a motivation also to get their kids.
Yeah, and they want to see how people are training. What bikes do they use?
Yeah.
How do they come? What's the support system for them, right? For others. So that they know what they are involved, right? Because before anyone supports or sponsors an athlete, it's the parents who do it. So till our child achieves a certain milestone in the sport. So it's very important. And definitely, a lot of, talking about parents, I see a lot of kids along with their parents coming to national events, club events, traveling with the kids, taking care of them, staying at their hotel, feeding them. It's very motivating. I mean, I can only say I wish I had, but I feel happy that
things are changing.
Things are changing. It's for good. So it's nice. That's how we can progress in the sport faster, right?
Great, yeah. And what do you
Yeah.
see, like, if it is a new beginner, what are the kind of equipments you should have to start training?
Good point. I mean, talking about equipment, for me, I have 5 levels
Okay.
of upgrading equipment, right? So
Yeah.
level one is buy a basic bike. Buy a bike which is in your budget constraints.
Yeah.
It can start for 30,000 or it can start at 1,30,000 for another person,
Yeah.
right? Everything is seen according to me. First bike
Yeah.
is first bike, irrespective of money you pay,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, budget is a big constraint in cycling. So, to start off, I would say buy a bike, buy
Yeah.
a helmet. It goes
Yeah.
hand in hand. These are the first
True.
two things that you buy to start off.
Yeah.
You train with it, with whatever knowledge you have, with whatever experience you have gained over social media, internet, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You start riding, you get to know, you will understand if you really love the sport,
Yeah.
right? Because initially, before you buy a bike, I'm sure you'd have borrowed a friend's bike because
Yeah.
money, since the money is involved, right?
Yeah.
More unlike it's almost like buying a motorbike or a scooter now.
Yeah.
So
You would have done a
you
lot of
borrow a friend's
research.
bike, or you
You would
borrow a
have done a
friend's
lot of
bike.
research. Yeah.
Yeah, you rent a bike or something, right? Before you jump into the sport or jump into the water yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so initially I would say level one is buy a bike plus helmet. Start off, just ride everywhere, whatever terrain, mountain bike or road bike. I mean, you can't stay in Chennai and say, I'll buy a mountain bike. You don't have trails in Chennai.
Yeah.
So it's very
True.
important to understand what geography of place you come from, right? Staying in
Yeah.
Chennai, it's great for road cycling. Definitely, you have good highways, you can train there. There's a culture out there.
Yeah.
Staying in Bangalore,
Yeah.
you can do both for sure, right?
Yeah.
In Kerala, again, where you stay is very important. So accordingly, you pick the bike, start riding.
Yeah.
Then level two, I would say, start off with pedals and shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. Along with
Yeah.
that, everyone now has a smartphone. I mean, it's very easy to measure your cycling parameters like distance, speed, time taken,
Yeah.
and all. So you have Strava, Endomodo, so many apps are
Yeah.
there which you can plug in
Correct.
and just use them on the go. So that's
Yeah.
level two,
Yeah.
pedals and shoes, I would say.
Yeah.
Then level three is getting into the serious aspect of cycling, I would say. When
Yeah.
you get into level two, also, it's not easy to get used to pedals and pedals
Cleats.
and cycling shoes, cleats.
Yeah.
Get used to them, get comfortable. It will easily take 1 month to 2 months. I mean, a fall here and there
Yeah.
is pretty much like
Expected. Yeah.
expected. You got to be super careful where
Yeah.
you come from. Are you riding in traffic bound areas, or you're blessed with good city with less traffic, less air,
Yeah.
and good, I mean, good quality air and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, getting used to cleats and pedals is the second most important thing.
Yeah.
That's my to-do list in terms of upgrading your cycling gear.
Yeah.
Third would be buying a cyclocomputer, be it Garmin device,
Yeah.
different types of Garmin devices are there, and other brands like what we have Megain, we have Sigma. So a
Yeah.
lot of other
Bontrager is
brands are
a
there. Bontrager is there, yeah, right? Wireless, Bluetooth, and plus. That's again left to the person's budget constraints
budget. Yeah.
based on whatever. It's very important when you buy. Don't buy stuff first, keeping in mind how much budget I have. Based on that, you can buy everything and anything,
Yeah.
right?
True.
Um, so yeah, next is cyclocomputers. Along with it comes sensors like cadence sensor, speed sensor,
Yeah.
HR belt. So this is where you start getting a little more serious, right? You
Yeah.
start comparing your parameters, various parameters like cadence. Cadence is nothing but the revolutions per minute. In cycling is
Yeah.
called as cadence. So you start comparing your data of cadence, speed, what was your HR belt, and what was your HR zones during a particular ride. So that's level three.
Yeah.
Now come to level four is getting a little more serious. Now you start buying a trainer, right?
Yeah.
You can't ride outdoor always thanks to weather or time. So you buy a trainer. In trainer, we have various kinds of trainers: smart trainer, regular
Turbo
trainer,
trainers.
just
Yeah.
rollers. We have rollers.
Yeah.
Then We have smart trainers with all the sensors, right?
Yeah.
Where you go live with Zwift and stuff like that.
Correct.
Level 5 is getting into access, the ultimate of cycling, power meter to your road bike. I
Yeah.
mean, you people get the power data from smart trainers, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's not fixed to the bike. So when they go
Yeah.
outdoors, they miss the power data all of a sudden. I can see a lot of people struggle outdoors all of a sudden when they don't have power data or got used to too much of smart training, right? On
Yeah.
the indoor trainer. So level 5 is power meter. Then it's repeat, cycle repeats. When I say, then you upgrade your bike again. You upgrade your
Yeah.
helmet. You upgrade your
Yeah.
shoes.
Yeah.
So it's about, again, it's like eat, cycle, repeat, right?
Improving
Eat,
all
race.
aspects. Yeah.
Coming back to level 1, but you're just upgrading stuff. Better bike, better
Yeah.
wheels. So
Yeah.
5 levels. This is how I would say in terms of equipment upgrade in various
Yeah, that's the
stages.
best. That's the organic way of growing into
Yeah,
the
definitely. I
training.
mean, I've seen a lot of my friends. I mean, through pandemic, they purchased bikes, gear, everything in one go, and probably
Yeah.
rode about 2 months, 3 months, then done, right?
Yeah.
Then they come back to me and say, "What should I do with this? Is there anyone whom I can sell it off?" Right? It's not a good sign.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's good to go nice and steady because you can survive longer. You understand the sport also
Yeah.
better, and yourself if you're really enjoying it.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
maybe once you start progressing into cleats, a lot of people don't enjoy cycling. They feel
Yeah.
they don't feel comfortable, right? They'll say, no,
I
I
know.
think I'll just stick to normal shoes, platforms, and just enjoy cycling, city
Yeah.
commute. That is when they
Yeah.
understand. And few get excited. Oh, I like the cleat aspect. It's giving me more power.
Yeah.
I'm able to go even more faster. They
Yeah.
get excited.
Faster.
I mean, you can sense it,
Always when
right?
you have an accident, you get very skeptical. You get have that fear of falling
True.
again. That's the
Yeah,
reason
yeah, yeah.
most of them are scared of cleats. I think that's the best way
Yep,
to
yep.
go. And coming
Yeah.
back from equipments to the parameters, what are the key parameters you should look at when you're a beginner in terms of training? There'll be too many things, but how
So
do you
I
say like top five or something?
So when see, I mean, thanks to pandemic, I'm staying in now Mysore, right? We have seen tremendous cycling growth. We have seen a lot of people riding outdoors. So on the ring road, when I
Yeah.
go out, I see a lot of people cycling, and majority of
Okay.
them are beginners, right? They are
Yeah.
grinding. When I say grinding, they put on the hardest gear possible and they grind,
Yeah.
going slowly.
Yeah.
They think that's generating better power and they're
Yeah.
actually going faster, is what they think. But
Correct.
unfortunately, that's completely wrong perception. I mean, even I started off,
Yeah.
okay, you grind, you feel you're generating more power, you're feeling more stiff on your legs,
You
you
will
feel
become
good about
stronger.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's impacting your knees and your legs. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not good for your knee joints to grind at that pace and for that
Yeah.
longer, right? It's not good at all.
Yeah.
So when I have time, I can't control myself. I actually stop at them and tell, please reduce the gears. That's the advantage of having gears in modern day equipment. Reduce the
Yeah.
gears. Make sure the cycling momentum is very rhythmic and there's
Yeah.
hardly any impact on your knees. So first and
Yeah.
foremost, I would say a beginner is to focus on
Yeah.
cadence, is to make
Yeah.
sure you might think that you're not going faster, but over a period of
Yeah.
time, the gains you get is
Yeah.
amazing, right? So first and foremost, I would say
Yeah.
for a beginner is to focus on good cadence. Now, good cadence, obviously, how will you know good
Talking
cadence?
about
You need,
cadence, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
What could be the better cadence for a beginner, for a
Uh,
intermediate?
so a good rider
Yeah.
rides anywhere between 85 to 95 cadence, right? That's the number.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
very strangely, I had my friend who picked up the bike, just like everyone. He was riding, he was enjoying. He progressed to level 3, like I said. He bought the Garmin, he bought the
Yeah.
sensors, HR belt, and all. Uh, One day, he found out that we striked up one conversation and he talked about cadence. He asked me what was the
Yeah.
cadence today. I was like 97. He was shocked. Uh, why are you so shocked? Because he said his cadence was 57, right? So it's
Okay.
It's very, very,
That's
very
it.
high number. Yeah, it's a lot of strength workout. It's just focusing on power than anything else,
Yeah.
right? Than aerobic, right? Workout.
Yeah.
So it's very important. Okay, you have a cadence sensor. Now you start focusing on
Yeah.
cadence. So initially you get a data from your regular ride. So I would say slowly
Yeah.
start focusing on +5 number improvement. So if you think if you're around
Yeah.
65, 70, start focusing on 75, 80. That's how you
Yeah.
progress. It'll take some time, but over a period
Yeah.
of time, and also it's very important to keep riding over the similar courses so that because different profiles will give you different cadence data also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even for me, I mean, for a climbing route, it'll be around 70, 65 to 70, 75, depending on what kind of course you're doing. But talking about cadence, it's a little subjective also, but it's always better. They say a good rider always have higher cadence number. Very few
Okay.
are low cadence riders. Like
Okay.
even the best riders also have an habit of grinding more. It's basically what kind of
Okay.
muscle group are you generating power from, right? Ideally
Okay.
speaking, in a realistic world, better the cadence, it's better for you because the
Yeah.
cycling pattern is that much more rhythmic. So that is something
Okay.
I would suggest a beginner focus on cadence, low gear. Make sure there's not much impact or resistance on your legs. It should be smooth. The
Yeah.
as in when you feel you're freewheeling, that is when you shift gears and you keep riding. The moment you
Yeah.
think you're some period,
You lost some connection. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay.
Are you
You
able
lost
to
some
hear me?
connection.
Yeah, okay.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
This was some connection issue.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I mean, only the face is not clear. The
Is
sound is
it?
clear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it
Perfect.
better?
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Please go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
So yeah, to start off, it's better to focus on cadence and just progress over it, work on it, start feeling better in terms of in terms of speed, how you engage different muscle groups
Yeah.
in your legs. Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else other than the cadence we should look at in the initial stages?
Then I would say another good parameter. I mean, easier thing to do is uh, what I used to do back in the day is to ride the same distance, right? The same route
Yeah.
again and again, right?
Yeah.
You'll be able to measure
Yeah.
what was the time taken or the
The
speed,
improvement. Yeah.
what was the average speed. You can see and
Yeah.
gauge your improvement over a period of various weeks and months. That is something that
Correct.
I
Very
would
true.
prefer to do. And also doesn't mean ride the same route for the entire 31 days in a month, right?
Yeah.
I mean, have 3 routes in your plan, write
Yeah.
them over period so that 3 different types of route. One is flat terrain, another is a rolling terrain. Rolling
Yeah.
terrain is nothing but a mix of flat roads, climbs, and
Yeah.
downhills where you're
Yeah.
engaging different muscles. You get used to different profile, right? It's very important.
Yeah.
And probably a hill which is around. So you keep riding them regularly, so that way you can
Yeah.
keep comparing yourself,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
way you understand yourself better, your bike better, and the gearing
Yeah.
ratio that you need to work on.
Work on. Absolutely. And coming back from that, how many days in a week would be good for a rider? How many hours of riding in a week? And when can we start seeing results?
Yeah, so good question. Again, when you talked about training, why should one train? Similar question
Yeah.
here. If someone says, "How many days should I train?" for the first question, the next question will be, how many days do you have in your hand to train?
Yeah.
That is very, very important to understand before you say, before someone says you need to dedicate 15 hours per week. But
Okay.
if I say, okay, you need to train 15 hours, but if the person will do everything in his life to put in that 15 hours, even though he had only 10 hours,
Yeah.
then it's recipe for disaster, right? So I
Correct.
would say first figure out how much time you have in your hand
Yeah.
and make sure you utilize them on
Yeah.
periodic, consistent basis, right?
Yeah.
For say, I have, for example, initially to start off with, I had only 45 minutes to 1 hour in a day to train.
Yeah.
I made sure I train for 1 hour every single day for the next 7 months.
Yeah.
That's basically my commute time to work. That was the only
Okay.
training that I had. I mean, I used to train.
Yeah.
When I say I used to train, I used to commute to my work about 45 minutes
Yeah.
one way. So about that's 90 minutes per day. And
Yeah.
I used to work for 6 days. Seventh day was the only day that I could write long. When I say long,
Yeah.
probably 3 hours, 4 hours, depending on how much the energy levels are. So it's
True.
very important for the person to understand how much time do you have based on
Yeah.
their occupation, be it a student,
What
working
kind of? Yeah.
profession, right? Or
Yeah.
a housewife, anything. It's very
Yeah.
important for he or she to understand how much time they have and
Yeah.
work according to that. I mean,
True.
you can't say if you approach a coach and coach says for you to like reach certain level, you need to put in so many hours. Sorry, it doesn't work like that. You need to go to
Yeah.
a coach or a person and say, I have 8 hours in my day, in my
Yeah.
week. How can I utilize it to the maximum benefit?
Yeah.
Right? So
That's
before
true.
you ask anyone, how many hours do I need? Tell I
Yeah.
have so many hours first and
Yeah.
take it forward. That's the
Okay.
best
That's
way to go. It's something like when you buy a bike. It's very
yeah.
easy to say buy a 2 lakh bike, but no, sorry, I mean, right? The budget is only 50,000. You start from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
see, when you put in 10 hours per week, say for a beginner, I'm happy if he or she can put 6 to 8 hours to start off per week.
Yeah.
When they start seeing results, when you do 6 hours and 8 hours per week over a
Yeah.
period of 6 months, right?
Okay.
You will automatically start dedicating more time because you're seeing results, because you're
Results.
doing it
Yeah.
consistently. You're
Correct.
progressing yourself. You'll feel,
Yeah.
okay, now I can dedicate a little more time. You'll
I'll
sacrifice
find some
something
more.
else to put in
Yeah.
more time. So that's how
True.
you progress. And that's the
Yeah.
way to progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my next question comes from there. Like, when should you take a coach and a mentor? Once you start
So
realizing,
remember, I
yeah,
talked about 5 levels of upgrading cycle.
yeah,
So upgrading equipment. Level 3 is when you start looking out for coaches or mentor. Uh,
okay,
I would say start off with a mentor always. So
yeah,
what's the difference between a mentor and a coach? Mentor
yeah.
is a guy who's already been in the sport. They
So as an
understand how the sport
ex-rider, yeah,
works. Ex-rider, they would have had a lot of experience and
yeah,
knowledge about the sport itself. They will
yeah,
be able to guide you to start off with basics so that
yeah,
they understand, right? Once
yeah,
you're working with a mentor for a certain period of time, when I say certain period of time, minimum, I would say 3 to 6 months is bare minimum that you need to work with a
yeah,
mentor to
yeah.
understand yourself and
True.
the person himself, right? And the sport.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was talking about level 3, right? Level 3 is when you have your bike, you have your safety gear,
Cycler
you are already
computers.
on cleats, you have Garmin device,
Yeah,
cadence sensor is working. You know what good cadence or bad cadence. You have your HR belt. You know, you kind approximately know what various zones, HR zones are.
yeah, yeah,
When you reach this stage is when I
yeah,
feel you can approach a mentor and work with a mentor for some time, and from
yeah,
there progress to a coach who will be
yeah,
giving out workouts, because when a coach gives you a workout, it's all in abbreviation form, right? You need to
yeah,
understand what
yeah,
that workout is. So for that,
yeah,
a coach can't spoon feed you to start
yeah.
off, right?
True.
So if you have a mentor or a senior person who's there to guide you, to understand the initial nuances of cycling, it becomes that much more easier.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So, I mean, how much ever you Google, I mean, for everything there's Google, but it's very important to have a person in live with you while you're riding to understand how things are going, what's an effort look like, how it should look like, what's the position, right? What's a strength effort on a bike should look like, what's the position if we are referring to TT, aero position, TT, time trialing and stuff like that. Right? So it's very important. So at level 3, I would say when you have all this and sorted is when you can have your coach. He or she will be.
Yeah, I think we lost the network. 1 second. Can you hear me? You lost your network again.
All good? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I
can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, your visual guards get blurred every time. Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. This is a problem. Yeah, cool. Is it good now? Better?
We can't see you clearly. The sound is clear.
Oh.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. Damn, I'm really sorry
maybe
about
you need
this.
to touch the screen. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Better? Is it getting better?
Yeah, better. Correct. Don't move.
Okay. Cool.
That's the thing. Yeah. So perfect. You are saying and do you think self-training is dangerous or it's good to have a mentor every time?
Self-training is good. I mean, to start off, everyone will do self-training for sure, right?
Yeah. I mean, after reaching the level 3, you still say, okay, now I can manage myself.
I mean, a lot of people think like that, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't work. I mean, I have seen myself, or I've done it myself. You work with a coach for a certain time, then you feel you have understood everything, and you think you can do it all. You can never. It's not that easy, right? It's very. Your job of training becomes that much more easier and more progressive when you have a coach, because when you train. So what happens? What are the biggest disadvantage of self-training? Assume you've laid out a plan for the next 1 week. You get up in the morning.
Yeah.
You don't have time all of a sudden. There's a 3-hour ride planned that you have planned yourself. You run out of time for some reason. You're happy to adjust and say, you'll just finish a 1-hour ride and come back home.
Yeah, true.
Right? And that's not
you lose the discipline. Yeah.
You lose the discipline. When you have a coach, you feel responsible because you need to report to the coach. When you know there's a 3-hour ride, you will make sure you will dedicate that 3 hours to the ride.
You'll be on time. Yeah.
You'll be on time. Things just progresses that much more better. Yeah. So self-training is good. It's important one does the self-training because only then you understand the importance of a coach.
Coach, yeah. Correct.
Right? You need to commit that mistake because you don't commit a mistake, you will never understand. Right? Yeah. So I would say self-train, there's no harm in it. You understand yourself better. Yeah. If it works out for you, great for you. I mean, kudos, right? Yeah. Nothing like it. But I would any day recommend to have a coach or a mentor because you're responsible, you're more disciplined. You don't have to.
Their experience also count, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to put in the energy to understand what you need to do for the 1 week.
Yeah.
Instead, just look at the workout and stick to it. Focus and channelize your energy in doing the workout than preparing the workout.
Preparing the workout, yeah.
Right? That's more important. Yeah.
What's your suggestion on indoor training? These days more are sticking to indoor training.
Good question. I mean, wrong question to me because there are a lot of options with respect to indoor training, right? Thanks to COVID, everyone switched to smart training, Zwift racing and stuff like that. I'm not a Zwift person. I'm not a virtual training person. I mean, I don't like staying on the smart trainer and stuff like that, right? I just stick to a normal trainer. I have a workout. I have a data. I have a target that I need to focus on. I'll just stick to it. just sticking to that target power or HR zone itself a bigger challenge for me than anything
Yeah.
else, right?
Correct.
Indoor training is great, yeah, especially during pandemic, right? Where
Yeah.
during the lockdown you couldn't ride outside. The best thing for you to still stick to cycling was to just get on the smart trainer, enjoy riding with your
Yeah.
friends from all over the world. That's nice, but
Yeah.
somehow I didn't enjoy it as much as one does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Real.
I just stuck to training. I mean, stuck to indoor training, but I was more focused on the workout that was given by my coach, and I was happy with
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I mean,
Perfect. And talking
it's
about
something
training,
subjective. It
another,
depends.
yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Everyone, yeah.
subjective, right? It's varies from person to person. But the biggest advantage for me about indoor training is it's very qualitative. There's no junk
The
miles. Like for
data is
example, if
more.
you do outdoor, right, you don't have the junk miles, the city road to reach the highway, and from there you start. Here it's
Yeah.
everything quality. There's no junk miles and stuff like that. It's very
Yeah.
clean and nice. So that's the biggest advantage I would say with respect to indoor training. Yeah.
Talking about training, and another crucial thing is the rest and recovery. What's your
Yeah.
suggestions on that? Too much of training,
Yeah, it's very important to stick to rest and recovery. When I say stick to rest and recovery, no athlete in the world across disciplines trains 365 days, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Correct.
and also 7 days per week, right?
Yeah.
Unless the regime is called just to test the person's ability to withstand stress.
The reason why I
So
ask this question is like, these days there are a lot of challenges. They say like I need to do 10K kilometer, 20K kilometer. So they don't have anything rather than hitting that thing. So your body doesn't have a rest. They
yeah,
think
yeah.
more you ride, you become more stronger. They don't give time for the muscles to rest.
Yeah. Yeah. So, see, you're abusing your muscles every day when you train.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
give them rest so that they recover, become stronger. Repair, in most
Repair.
importantly,
Yeah.
repair is the word,
Yeah.
right? They're not rebuilding, repair. So, for them to get back to their original form is
Yeah.
repairing, right? So, you need to give them that time. So, when does this happen? When you're not riding,
Yeah.
2 days per week or 1 day per week. When you are sleeping
Yeah.
is when when the body is going maximum repair, both for the
Yeah.
entire metabolism, the muscles, blood
Yeah.
flow, everything. So it's very important you give that adequate rest so that when you get up the next day, you're that much more fresher
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you can smash the given ride that much more better because
True.
I mean it's very evident we have a lot of athletes everyone's done this mistake, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
more you ride, more stronger you become, uh, more mileage you clock, the better you are.
Yeah.
It's true to a certain extent, but you pay the price at one day. You end up with
Yeah.
injuries.
Injury. Yeah. I think we lost the connection again.
Are you,
Yeah. Hello.
hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can
Is everything clear? Audio, video?
I mean, the face is not clear. I think, yeah, audio is clear, video is not clear. I mean, when we move from one place, it happens.
I'm not
Voice,
moving.
yeah, perfect.
Uh, okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So
fine.
yeah, rest and recovery is very, very important. There are various types of rest and recovery methods. People do
Yeah,
cold showers. People undergo massages. Um,
yeah,
people I mean, then what else? What are the various stretching and foam rolling is also
yeah,
recovery to your muscles. All
yeah,
these are very important parameters. Something to be considered because as you grow, for youngsters it's very easy because
yeah,
um, they can just keep going. But as you grow older,
yeah,
you need to give that due importance to the body and respect it, and
correct.
give its time. Yeah.
Yeah, and they keep doing this cross training also, just to get more
Yep.
strength,
Yep.
So if you ask me like how many days would be a rest and how many days you need to do the cross training.
Cross training is good, definitely. When do you do it is the key important factor, right?
Yeah.
Off season, when I say off season, when there are no races around, uh, it's very important you put in some strength training into your regimen. That is spending time in the
Yeah.
gym, cross training. Right? I would recommend anywhere between 2 to 3 days max per week,
Yeah.
right? Focusing on your
Yeah.
core and yeah, right? About 3 days per week. As you just
Yeah.
start progressing towards race season, when say race is about 3 months or 2 months away, is when I start
Yeah.
reducing strength sessions, about say one or
Yeah.
two sessions per week, and you still
Okay.
keep doing your core exercises, which is just doing various stability workouts. That will not
Yeah.
uh, hamper much with respect to your progress, but you
Yeah.
will definitely see all the gains from the strength training that you did in the off season when your races were
Yeah.
about 6 7 months away.
Yeah.
That power starts transferring on the bike slowly, not immediately. It will take
True.
time once you start doing things specifically to the
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah.
I see a lot of youngsters when they go to the gym, they start thinking they were like ninjas or bodybuilders. They start focusing on how they look and stuff like that. That's not important.
Yeah.
Your primary sport is cycling, right? It's not
Yeah.
how you look or appear. It's something that
Yeah.
I would have seen in a lot of youngsters. Uh, how you look is not important. The amount of power or energy that you generate from the muscles within is
Yeah.
more important. So you do that, you focus on strength training, you come back to your bike, spend more time on the bike. As and when you progress or come nearby to the competition, the bike mileage increases and the various workouts, the intensity increases. That is when you start seeing the
Yeah.
gains. So
Yeah.
yeah, I obviously you won't be doing strength training like 2 weeks or say 1 month away from competitions. That 1 month away,
Yes.
you're just spending time on the bike and doing
Bike. Yes.
about say spending about 30 to 40 minutes per 2 days per week doing various core exercises just to
Yeah.
maintain whatever you've done
You have done for the
four
previous.
months prior or 6 months prior. Yeah.
Superb. So good about the training. I think we'll come back to you on your bikes and your kind of training. So to inspire people who are here, so just tell
Yeah.
about your, bikes because you do both mountain biking and biking as well.
Right.
So tell what kind of bikes you have and what is the kind of training you do.
Oh, what kind of bikes? I have every bike that's possible to start off. I mean, road bikes, I graduated. My first road bike was Damani. Then I
Yeah.
graduated to a Monda bike. Um,
Yeah.
then that's my road bike. Now, coming back to my mountain bikes, initially it was Top Fuel, which is a full suspension XC bike,
Yeah.
top
Yeah.
of the line. Then I got a Pro Caliber, which is a
Yeah.
hardtail bike from Trek. Um, then recently I got a Super Caliber, which is the new version of mountain biking. It's not a hardtail, not a full suspension, is what you want to call
Yeah.
it, right? And
Yeah.
it's a Super Cal. It's a nice balance between a complete full suspension bike and a hardtail.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had all the three bikes. I use all of them. In
Yeah.
terms of training, though I'm more of a mountain biker than a road racer, my majority
Yeah.
of the training goes on the road bike uh,
Okay.
because that is where you can start seeing measurements in terms of your power data, the speeds, where you can focus on
Yeah.
sustained efforts because you can't go to a
Yeah.
trail and put in a 10-minute effort. There are a lot of turns, there
Yeah.
are a lot of climbs, downhill sections where it's
Yeah.
stochastic, right? It's not
Yeah.
consistent. So to measure uh,
Yeah.
the data, the majority of my training is on the road bike. So I do about, I would
Yeah.
say about 70 to 80% of my training on the road bike, only to get
Yeah.
used to the trail and be conditioned to my mountain bike. About
Yeah.
2 months or 1 month before competition, I spend more time in the trails, just focusing on skills, generating power, getting used to the bike, getting used
Yeah.
to the terrain and stuff like that. Yeah, that's regarding my
Superb.
bikes and training. Yeah.
Yeah, since you are a Trek sponsored athlete, what kind of bikes you suggest from, the Trek portfolio for, people who are into MTB and into road racing? What is the kind of bikes you would advise?
So I would start off considering. the finance aspect of it, start off with a Marlins
Yeah.
series. We have the 3 series,
Yeah.
right? In tech mountain
Yeah.
bike category. We have the Marlins, then the Excalibur, then the Pro Cals.
Excaliburs, Pro Calibers,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so start off at Marlin or Excalibur based on what's the budget given
Yeah.
to you. Start off
Yeah.
start off from there. The geometry is more relaxed in the Marlin, and it gets a little
Yeah.
more aggressive in Excalibur. The Pro Caliber or the Super Caliber is a pure racing bred machines, right?
Yeah.
So assume you progress, you start from Excal 7 or Excal 8, then you ride them, you race with them. Most importantly, you understand
Yeah.
you understand the bike itself and yourself, how you can handle the bike.
Yeah.
Then once you've ridden
True.
done enough racing, then you probably progress to a Pro Cal or a Super Caliber, depending on the
Yeah.
kind of rider you are, how good you can become, right?
Yeah.
That's regarding mountain bike category in Trek. Then talking
Yeah.
about road bikes, I would say start off from a Domane because it's a relaxed
Yeah.
geometry. It gives you a pretty good posture on the bike. It's not super aggressive.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, my
Yeah.
first bike was Domane and I'm in completely love with that bike. Right. Easy
Yeah.
to ride on gravel roads, especially thanks to our Indian infrastructure, right? You don't have good tarmac roads always. So Domane
Yeah.
was a nice balance for that. You have speed plus you have the ISO to help you out, right?
Mhm.
ISO speed
Yeah.
to take care of the vertical compliance. So to start off with the Domane SL series or SLR series, then
Yeah.
then probably to a Emonda or a Madone. Emonda
Yeah.
is a climbing bike. It's super light. It flies
Yeah.
on the climbs. So you can buy a Emonda. Or if you think you're a sprinter and you like just stage racing and you like, I mean, flat races, sprint finish, Madone is the bike that you need to go for.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'm looking forward to my next new bike and let's see what that's going to be. Yeah.
Superb. Yeah. So, and coming back to the races, that's my last questions to you. What is the kind of races, famous races in India, and what is the kind of race you participate, which get an idea about what's happening?
So for me, majority of the races or the major chunk of my racing is from Bangalore, part of
Okay.
Bangalore Bicycle Championship. There are a series
Yeah.
of races every month, starting from February to November, every third Sunday.
Okay.
It's not happening right now thanks to
Okay.
COVID, but when things
Yeah.
get normal, I'm sure BBCH will be back with its racing, right?
Yeah.
The beauty of Bangalore Bicycle Championship is they both cater to mountain biking and road racing,
Yeah.
alternating between the
True.
months. So that's how I got
Yeah.
into both the aspects of cycling. I enjoyed as
Yeah.
much as road biking and mountain biking. So I just went for
Mountain
both
biking.
racing. So BBCH is
Yeah.
something that I've done the major part of my cycling career. Apart from that,
Yeah.
there are other private events which happen on regular basis, which is MTB
Yep.
Kerala, which is a national event. Then
Yeah.
now I'm referring to all the national events of mountain biking because
Yep.
with respect to road racing, I just do only the BBCS races
Yeah.
only and probably take part in the nationals. But there are a lot of national
Yeah.
road racing that happens conducted by the governing body that I'm not a
Yeah.
regular participant, like
Yeah.
Pune Baramati and a lot of cycling marathons, cyclothons that happen in association with
Yeah.
private events. So coming back to the mountain bike events, we have MTB Kerala, MTB Uttarakhand,
Yeah.
then
Cool.
we have MTB Kerala, Uttarakhand. That's about it. About 2 events apart from the national event. Then private events like
Earlier, there used to
Bangalore.
be MTB Himachal. I'm not sure. MTB Himachal used to be there earlier. It's been quite
Yeah,
some time I've seen that.
MTB Himalaya is there. It's a private event. It's a stage. It's a
Yeah.
stage racing. 8 days of racing
Correct.
continuous. You race from start to finish, right?
Yeah.
Then that's something done by the private organizers
Correct.
called as Hastra. I've been to
Yeah.
both the events. They run a shorter event called as MTV Shimla, which happens in the month of April,
Yeah.
May. and MTV Himalaya
Yeah.
in the month of September, October, which is a longer version, right?
Yeah.
And the other events that I've been to is ATH, Aravali Trail Hunters. They
Yeah.
have a season of just mountain biking events with a few road
Yeah.
racing events here and there, but they have entire dedicated to just purely mountain biking. I just go to the final
Yeah.
event in the month of November or December. I managed 3 years to go and participate there. That is something that
Yeah.
I prefer going. Then we have Bangalore Mountain Festival happening in Bangalore near Nandi
Okay.
Hills. Every
Mm.
January, beginning of the year, second Sunday, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, second Sunday,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
BMF. And one more event that I have missed in the last 3-4 years is going to ROS race, Riders of Storm in Chandigarh.
Okay. Okay.
Even they have a very good racing culture which happens every month. Uh,
Yeah.
it's a community-driven event run by good friends there. That is that is one event that I would really want to participate before I retire from the sport or something like that, right? So ROS is
Yeah.
something that I enjoy. I would love to enjoy going there. Yeah, that's about it. Apart from the national events conducted by the calendar, by the national governing
Superb.
body.
Super. I think we have answered most of the questions which we have. We'll take few quick questions from the listeners, and we have got some questions through the campaign as well. So we are
Oh,
running
sure,
short
sure.
of time. So,
Yeah, yeah.
someone asked like, what could be the kind of training if I'm doing a 30 average, 30 plus average without even a mentor, without even a
Hmm.
training schedule. So what's the
Yeah.
kind of thing I need to work on?
Uh, if you're starting off at 30 kilometers per hour without training, without a mentor, I would say get a mentor then, right? That's when you
Yeah.
progress. See, when you stagnate is when you start having a support system. It's when you approach people to get better, right?
Correct.
It's very
True.
easy for me to say, just do certain kind of workouts, or you do a Google on, you have GCN, you have GMBN,
Yeah.
giving various workouts to improve your speeds, right? But they
Yeah.
can only do so much. What they give is very generic. It's not very specific
Yeah.
to an individual. That is something that we need to understand. When you have a
Yeah.
coach, he or she understands what kind of training have you done in the past 1 year or 6 months.
Okay.
Based on the
Okay.
history, they start suggesting where the mistakes have happened and what can be
Yeah.
done to rectify it so that you progress. Simple.
True.
Have a
So
coach
next
or
comes the same
mentor.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how. It's a common question. A lot of people have told, how do I increase my speed? I won't say how do I increase the speed as a parameter. I would say how do I increase my efficiency on the bike. It's not about
Correct.
speed, it's overall efficiency. It's just not speed, it's how fit you are, how flexible are you on the bike. Maybe you have to reduce your weight, maybe you have to change your position on the bike. So there are a lot of parameters. So it's all about getting efficient. Is a better word to
Yeah.
use in cycling than speed, right? Everyone goes by the parameter. People who at the top level never talk about speed. They only talk about power data or the HR zone or the cadence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Speed automatically comes.
Comes in. That's the result.
Yeah, yeah,
And someone asked me the next question is like, if you are in a place where you don't have any academy or coaches, how do you
yeah.
train?
Good question. Very valid question. In fact, there are two ways to look at this. Either get the support system to the place that it's not there, or go to a place where the support system exists.
Okay.
Or you just have to wait for everything to happen, right?
Okay.
Obviously, uh, it all depends on how badly you need it. Based on that, you look for the three options. If you really, if you're desperate and you're dedicated and you really want to progress in the sport, I would say don't wait, get stuck in a place where you don't have a support system or an academy. Go to a place where there
Okay.
is, right? Like for example, I would say Bangalore is a great place to start off. In the past, we have seen a lot of riders from Chennai, Bombay, Pune, coming to Bangalore,
Yeah.
staying there, participating races, being part of group rides, fast group rides to improve their speed,
Yeah.
to improve their performance on cycle. So go to a place where a good system is there, a good racing culture is there. More importantly, it's very important to have racing culture, because if you're training and you don't have events in your hometown or the place you stay, what's the point? Where are you seeing your progress? How do you see
Yeah.
results? So it's very important to go to places where there is a lot of racing culture. So like
Yeah.
Gurgaon and Delhi have ATH culture, Chandigarh as ROS. In Chennai, we have the road culture. So it's very important to go. Hyderabad had Hyderabad Racing League. So it's very important to be part of these cities where they have good racing culture and enough senior riders to mentor and guide youngsters. So go to a place where
True.
the system is there, make use of it, or bring the system to your place, which is a bigger challenge. Or third option is just wait and watch, right? For the system to happen or for you, things to happen at your place, which is I won't recommend. So I would just go to a place, stay there for a month or two, or say 2 weeks to start off, and see how you can absorb things. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how
And till
that's
you
how I
reach
would
that
look at
stage where
it.
you move to, yeah, till you reach a stage where you move to other cities, can
Yeah.
they take online sessions, take schedules
Yep.
online,
You can also do that. Yeah, you
some
can.
vendors train you?
Online is also another platform that you can utilize right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take last two questions. I think we are running out of time. Someone asked like,
Yeah.
how do we race with an endurance bike? Is it possible to race with an endurance bike? That's what you're asking.
So when you say endurance, are you referring to a road bike or a
Endurance
mountain bike?
geometry.
You can
I think it should
definitely
be a road
race with
bike.
any bike possible. You can
Yeah.
definitely race with any bike, any race. I mean, obviously, you can't race with a road bike on a mountain course, right? So yeah, talking about endurance geometry in a road race, you can definitely race. I had a Domane bike. I used to race them. I've done enough races in them. It's not a climbing bike, but I've won enough races on climbing segments on endurance geometry. You can definitely start off. You can race with them. You understand. There are a lot of adjustments to a bike that you can make in terms of
Yeah.
stem and reach, various handlebars, seat posts. The if you right.
Yeah.
So to make a bike, you can make a bike aggressive to a certain degree, even though it's an endurance geometry
Yeah.
for sure. So play with that parameters first, race with them, understand, enjoy the journey, and then probably you can start. If you feel the need, you can progress to a
Go
race
to
race geometry. Yeah.
true. Someone likes like I'm already at a 30-kilometer average. Should I upgrade to pedals and cleats? Cleat pedals,
Oh,
basically.
definitely. Yeah, you will see a lot of improvement for sure. I mean, you can initially you'll never see the improvement. You'll be skeptical because you are not pushing as usual. The different, the muscle groups engaged while having cleats is slightly different. You will see the difference, especially when you go over a hump or a pothole. The kind of reaction or response you get back from the bike is completely different. So you're a little more skeptical. It's important you give it time, get used to the cleats and how the bikes respond back to you. Once you get a hang of it, you will definitely start generating the normal pedaling motion, and you will definitely see a better speed improvement for sure.
Yeah. Maybe last two questions. How to carry bikes from races from one place to another? Maybe you need to buy a cycling bag. That's
Yeah.
what the
Uh,
option you need
you,
to have.
you have bike box that comes with the bike initially, or you have fancy bike bags, bike
Yeah.
boxes, a lot of accessories and gadgets are there in the market right now, subject to budget constraints. Very important to know. You understand, because bike bags and bike cases are not cheap right now.
Cheaper, yeah.
Also, a parameter, something that you need to consider while traveling. It's very one challenge is to get the bike back. Second challenge is to pay for the excess baggage or the oversized
Correct.
baggage. So it's
Yeah.
very important to understand that aspect. I mean, it's not easy to carry with a bike box in a train, right?
Yeah.
So you need to understand what are the other challenges that come with carrying bikes to all the races.
I would take the last question. How much is the minimum investment needed to basically success in national level? Someone was like, how much money you need to be in a national level? That's what they ask.
Sorry. I mean, how much money?
Like,
I wish
we can't.
we could put a
Yeah.
value to it. I wish we could put a
I
value to
mean, they're
it.
saying the investment, to their investment in terms of their bikes and gears, how much we need
Um,
to
good
invest
call. I would
minimum.
say a minimum of 2 lakhs. I would say a bike which is worth 1.5 lakh. Then you have your shoes, helmet, and safety gear. Then you have accessories in terms of cyclocomputers. I mean, you need to reach level 3 for sure. That is having bike, pedals, and a measuring device. Power meter, you can still manage without it because you have your HR data and your cadence, which is
Yep.
still good enough. For,
Yep.
if you are a dedicated rider, you can definitely do well and progress and reach the nationals and probably win also. I mean, with whatever, with so much gear and equipment. But yeah, 2 lakhs I would say is bare minimum for any individual to. It might sound more, but you will eventually end up spending so much at any cost. Probably more,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That's the lowest ballpark that I can give right now across road or MTB, I would say.
Perfect. I think we are done with a lot of questions right now. I mean, like 1 hour has gone so fast. We need a
Yeah, yeah,
longer session to get to the next level. I think. Thanks, Kiran, for coming in. I think it was really good. I think you have told the best way to organically grow. That's the best advice you can give. The
yeah,
reason why we started this session is to have a lot of people overwhelmed with the internet. They take a lot of
yeah, yeah,
suggestions.
yeah. Yeah.
We don't want them to lead to injuries. That's the basic idea of
Yes,
having
yes.
this kind of
Yeah.
session.
First thing is talk to parents. I think that's the most important thing that you'll not find it on internet.
Yeah.
Make them understand the sport. That's the biggest advice I give youngsters. Make sure your parents are in the same books, your friends are on the same books. You need to have that good support system for you to grow and sustain. Then,
True.
and compare yourself. That's the second tip I would say. Never compare with anyone.
Perfect.
There's time for you to do so. Once these two
Superb.
steps are
So
done, I
yeah,
wish you the best success possible. Yeah.
superb. So I ask everyone to follow KKR and just understand how
Thanks.
he
Thanks.
trains and
Thanks.
get inspired to be the next level. Okay. Thanks, Kiran, once again. Thanks everyone for
Thanks a
joining.
lot.
And any doubt you
Appreciate
have with
it.
regard to the session, you can put it in the comment section. Whichever
Definitely.
possible, we will be replying to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much, man.
joining.
Appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. Bye.
Pleasure.